Without a great photo or reference, you're not going to have a good painting. So I chose this particular photo that I had taken because of the big, strong shapes, great lights and shadows. The sky was very dramatic that day. I love the pop of color, and it was an interesting composition to me. Secondly, when you're starting your painting, ask yourself if there's a way to place items in a more dramatic way. For example, with this painting, I decided rather than leaving the trees in the backs of the painting, I brought them forward and particularly put that gigantic tree right at the front of the painting, guaranteeing a dramatic look. Adding lots of layers in your landscape painting will give it great depth, and it's such an easy thing to do. Just put one thing behind the other. You can make them different lights and darks. You can make them some things in the front lower, some things higher, and it just pushes your eye to the back of that painting. The fourth thing you can do, and one of my favorite things to do, is to exaggerate the lights and the darks. Don't be afraid of getting things super dark and super light. I love this lime green grass right in front of these dark tree trunks and having that really strong contrast. Here we've got the black almost at the bottom of that shrub with the white trees next to it. Just makes a great, interesting place to pop in your painting. The fifth suggestion is to use dramatic shadows on the ground. You can get a lot of drama in your painting just by incorporating shadows. And keep in mind that as the shadows move farther away from the object, they will get a little lighter and a little more diffuse. So keep them super dark next to the item and then let them get a little lighter as they go out. Lots of good drama there. Speaking of strong shadows, another great place to incorporate shadows is up in the trees. In this painting, I used a small round brush and I put different marks, many of them at an angle, some little dots, some wider places. Back in the shadow part of the painting, I used dark grays, and as it moved to the outer part, my grays got a little lighter. Here's one of my favorite paintings in a very different color palette where the shadows on the tree trunks played a really important part in this painting. It's what added so much drama and interest. And don't be afraid of pushing super darks and super lights together on your tree trunks. That's what will give it great depth and that strong sense of light and dark. Just love it. Number 7 is to add some interest to the sky. Again, one of the things that drew me to this photograph was it was one of those days where the sky was very dark, but the sun was very bright, and it gave a lot of drama and interest. And when I put this background color in, I didn't want it to just look like a flat color, so I intentionally scrubbed in some lighter places. I scrubbed a little of the pink that was in the trees back up into the sky for good color harmony, just to give your eye that sense that there's some movement and there's some drama going on. Sometimes your painting can have a dramatic sky just by the color that you choose. Doesn't necessarily have to have a lot of animation to it. Number 8 is adding a pop of color. One thing about this photograph is it was a fairly neutral and green scene, but I love the fact that the trees were just starting to bud with that purpley pink, and I wanted that to be an important part of this painting. So I incorporated that into the trees. I used 3 shades of red and pink to give it nice depth, and if you'll notice, I even put a pale pink tree in the very back of the painting, and again that gave it a little more depth and interest. I have a little shrub there on the left with a little coral color to it, just to break up this sea of green and to give your eye a place to land. Number 9 is to add some color and glow to your highlights. Even though I used white and Naples yellow for the highlights on these trees, I decided at the end to add a little touch of a coral color to them, just giving that extra glow, that same kind of color and glow that's in the shrubs at the bottom of the painting. Again, great color harmony. And number 10, I would suggest to always use the biggest brushes and biggest brush marks possible. There were several places in this painting where there was small detail and I had to drop down to something smaller, but for the most part, I kept my brushes and brushwork very large and expressive, and it just keeps your painting more lively. Hey, if this video has helped you, I would appreciate if you'd hit the like and subscribe button. That way you'll make sure you'll get my next YouTube video that's coming out. And if you want to check out my website, victoriahagemanart.com, I've got courses there, short tutorials, and you can see my original paintings. Thank you, and God bless.